What if I told you that everything in your life right now, your money, your health, your relationships, your happiness, all of it, started in your mind? James Allen, one of the most influential self-help authors in history, wrote a small but incredibly powerful book called A Man Thinketh. This isn't just another self-help book. This is a manual that reveals how your thoughts literally create your reality. In this video, you're going to discover how your thoughts shape your character, why you're 100% responsible for your circumstances, the real truth about the law of attraction. Turn up the volume and stay until the end, because this could completely change how you see yourself and your life. Let's dive in. Chapter 1: Thought and Character. Listen carefully. You didn't get here by accident. You literally created yourself to be exactly where you are right now. James Allen opens with this powerful truth. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. You might be thinking, come on, that's a bit extreme. But wait. The seed analogy. Just as a plant springs from a seed and couldn't exist without it, every single action you take springs from the hidden seeds of thought. Even actions that feel spontaneous or unplanned, they all came from thoughts you've been storing in your mind. Your thoughts equals the seeds. Your actions equals the tree. Your life equals the fruits. Allen says it beautifully. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Thus does a man gather in the sweet and bitter fruitage but his own husbandry. Here's the mind-blowing part. There are no accidents in the universe. Everything operates by the law of cause and effect. Plant good thoughts, you'll harvest good results. Plant bad thoughts, get ready for suffering. James Allen explains, a noble and godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the natural result of continued effort in right thinking. And on the flip side, an ignoble and bestial character is the result of the continued harboring of groveling thoughts. This is the game changer. You are the master of your thoughts, the molder of your character, and the maker of your destiny. Think about it. You have two extremes. Divine perfection, when you choose right thoughts and apply them consistently. Below the level of beasts, when you abuse and wrongly apply your thoughts. And between these two extremes are all the grades of character. And guess what? Man is their maker and master. Allen drops this absolute truth bomb. Man is always the master, even in his weaker and most abandoned state. But in his weakness and degradation, he is the foolish master who misgoverns his household. You're always in control. But most people are foolish masters. They let their thoughts run wild, then wonder why their life is chaos. The wise master? He searches for the laws of thought. He discovers them within himself through application, self-analysis, and experience. The mining metaphor. Just like gold and diamonds are only obtained through serious mining and digging, you can find every truth about yourself if you dig deep into the mine of your soul. Want proof that you're creating yourself? Allen gives you the challenge. Watch, control, and alter your thoughts, tracing their effects upon yourself, upon others, and upon your life and circumstances. Start today. Monitor your thoughts. Change them deliberately. Watch what happens in your life. Link cause and effect. Use every experience, even the smallest, most trivial daily occurrence, as a way to gain knowledge of yourself. This is understanding. This is wisdom. This is power. Alan promises, "He that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened." But only through patience, practice, and relentless persistence can you enter the door of the temple of knowledge. Chapter 2: Effective Thought on Circumstances. Here's where it gets really practical. Your mind is a garden. You can either cultivate it intelligently, planting useful seeds, growing flowers and fruits. Let it run wild, and useless weeds will take over. There's no middle ground. Your mental garden will produce something. The question is, what are you planting? The master gardener. Just as a gardener keeps his plot free from weeds and grows the flowers and fruits he wants, you can tend to the garden of your mind, weeding out wrong, useless, and impure thoughts, and cultivating right, useful, and pure thoughts. When you do this consistently, you discover that you're the master gardener of your soul and the director of your life. Now pay attention to this life-changing principle. Thought and character are one, and as character can only manifest through environment and circumstance, the outer conditions of a person's life will always be harmoniously related to his inner state. Read that again. Your outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner world. This doesn't mean your circumstances show your entire character, but they're connected to some vital thought element within you that's essential for your development right now. Alan hits us with this absolute fact. Every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him there, and in the arrangement of his life, there is no element of chance, but all is the result of a law which cannot err. This applies to people who feel out of harmony with their surroundings, people who are content with where they are. Both are exactly where they need to be for their growth. You're not a victim. You're a student. You're where you are so you can learn and grow. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Man is buffeted by circumstances so long as he believes himself to be the creature of outside conditions. But the moment you realize you're a creative power, that you can command the hidden soil and seeds of your being out of which circumstances grow, you become the rightful master of yourself. The attraction principle. Alan reveals, the soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. You reach the height of your cherished aspirations. You fall to the level of your unchastened desires. Circumstances are simply the means by which the soul receives its own. Every thought seed you sow or allow to fall into your mind produces its own results. It blossoms into action. It bears the fruit of opportunity and circumstance. Good thoughts equals good fruit. Bad thoughts equals bad fruit. The outer world shapes itself to the inner world of thought. Now here's where people get confused about whether they deserve their circumstances. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Their whims, fancies, and ambitions might get blocked at every turn, but their innermost thoughts and desires are fed with their own food, whether foul or clean. You don't get what you pray for or wish for. You get what you justly earn. Your wishes and prayers are only answered when they harmonize with your thoughts and actions. Alan gives us three powerful examples. Example 1. The poor man. A man is wretchedly poor. He wants better circumstances, but he shirks his work and tries to deceive his employer, thinking he's justified because his wages are too low. This man doesn't understand the basic principles of prosperity. He's actually attracting deeper wretchedness by dwelling in lazy, deceptive thoughts. Example 2. The rich man. A rich man suffers from a painful disease due to gluttony. He'll pay huge sums to cure it, but he won't sacrifice his gluttonous desires. He wants to eat rich, unnatural food and have perfect health. This man is totally unfit to have health because he hasn't learned the first principles of healthy living. Example 3. The employer. An employer uses crooked measures to avoid paying fair wages, hoping for larger profits. When he goes bankrupt in reputation and wealth, he blames circumstances, not knowing he's the sole author of his condition. The key lesson: man is the causer, though nearly always unconsciously, of his circumstances. While aiming at a good end, he is continually frustrating its accomplishment by encouraging thoughts and desires which cannot possibly harmonize with that end. You can't think of poverty and create wealth. You can't think sickness and create health. You can't think weakness and create strength. Alan addresses the complexity of judging others. A man's circumstances are so complicated. Thought is so deeply rooted, and the conditions of happiness vary so vastly with individuals that a man's entire soul condition cannot be judged by another from the external aspect of his life alone. An honest man may suffer privations. A dishonest man may acquire wealth, but this doesn't mean honesty leads to failure or dishonesty leads to success. The dishonest man may have virtues the honest man lacks, and vice versa. Each reaps the results of all their thoughts, good and bad. The uncomfortable truth about suffering: it is pleasing to human vanity to believe that one suffers because of one's virtue. But not until a man has extirpated every sickly, bitter, and impure thought from his mind can he declare that his sufferings are the result of his good qualities. Most suffering comes from our own mental disharmony, not from our virtues. The great law: good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and actions can never produce good results. It's as simple as nothing comes from corn but corn, nothing from nettles but nettles. What suffering really means: suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. The purpose of suffering is to purify, to burn out everything useless and impure. When you become pure, suffering ceases. But perfectly pure and enlightened being cannot suffer. Alan gives us the real definition of success. Blessedness, not material possessions, is the measure of right thought. Wretchedness, not lack of material possessions, is the measure of wrong thought. You can be cursed and rich. You can be blessed and poor. Blessedness and riches are only joined when the riches are rightly and wisely used. The transformation begins when a man ceases to whine and revile and commences to search for the hidden justice which regulates his life. As he adapts his mind to that regulating factor. He stops blaming others. He builds himself up in strong and noble thoughts. He stops fighting circumstances. He starts using them as aids to his rapid progress. The ultimate truth, law, not confusion, is the dominating principle in the universe. Justice, not injustice, is the soul and substance of life. Man has only to right himself to find that the universe is right. As he alters his thoughts toward things and other people will alter toward him. The crystallization process. This is huge. Thought rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance. Watch this progression. Negative thoughts, bestial thoughts, habits of drunkenness and sensuality, destitution and disease, impure thoughts, enervating habits, distracting circumstances, thoughts of fear, doubt, weak, unmanly habits, failure and dependence, lazy thoughts, uncleanliness and dishonesty, foulness and beggary, hateful thoughts, habits of accusation and violence, injury and persecution, selfish thoughts, self-seeking habits, distressing circumstances, positive thoughts, beautiful thoughts, habits of grace and kindliness, genial, sunny circumstances, pure thoughts, habits of temperance and self-control, repose and peace, courageous thoughts, manly habits, success, plenty, and freedom, energetic thoughts, habits of cleanliness and industry, pleasant circumstances, gentle thoughts, habits of gentleness, protective circumstances, loving, unselfish thoughts, habits of self-forgetfulness, true prosperity and riches, the power of choice. A man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts, and so indirectly, yet surely, shape his circumstances. You can't control what happens, but you control your response. And your response shapes everything that comes next. Alan ends this chapter with a powerful poem. You will be what you will to be. Let failure find its false content in that poor word, environment. But spirit scorns it and is free. It masters time, it conquers space. The human will, that force unseen, can hew away to any goal. The walls of granite intervene. Your will, your directed thought, is the most powerful force in your life. Chapter 3. Effect of Thought on Health. Your body is literally the servant of your mind. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. Disease and health are rooted in thought. The fear factor? Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continually killing thousands of people, just as surely, though less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety demoralizes the whole body. It opens the door to disease. Impure thoughts, even if not physically acted on, will shatter the nervous system. On the other hand, strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. Your body is a delicate, plastic instrument that responds to the thoughts by which it's impressed. Habits of thought produce their own effects, good or bad, on your physical body. Alan makes a radical statement. Men will continue to have impure and poisoned blood so long as they propagate unclean thoughts. Out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. Out of a defiled mind comes a defiled life and a corrupt body. Thought is the fountain of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. Diet isn't the answer. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. This is why so many diets fail. You're treating the symptom, not the cause. Protection from disease. If you would protect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. Thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, and despondency rob the body of health and grace. A sour face doesn't come by chance. It's made by sour thoughts. Wrinkles are drawn by folly, passion, and pride. Alan shares, I know a woman of 96 who has the bright, innocent face of a girl. I know a man well under middle age whose face is drawn into inharmonious contours. One is the result of a sweet and sunny disposition. The other is the outcome of passion and discontent. The ultimate prescription. There is no physician like cheerful thought for dissipating the ills of the body. There is no comforter to compare with goodwill for dispersing the shadows of grief and sorrow. To live in thoughts of ill will, cynicism, suspicion, and envy is to be confined in a self-made prison. But to think well of all, to be cheerful with all, to patiently find the good in all, these unselfish thoughts are the very portals of heaven. All right, that's part 1 of As a Man Thinketh. Let's recap the mind-blowing truths we just covered. You are literally what you think. Your character is the sum of all your thoughts. Your circumstances are a perfect reflection of your inner state. You attract what you are, not what you want. Thoughts crystallize into habits. Habits solidify into circumstances. Change your thoughts. Change your life. Your body responds to your thoughts. Disease and health are rooted in your mental state. In part 2, we're going to dive into how to link thought with purpose, the thought factor in achievement, the power of visions and ideals, and how to achieve true serenity. If this video is opening your eyes to the power of your thoughts, hit that like button and subscribe, because part 2 is going to give you the practical tools to transform your entire life. Drop a comment below. What's one thought pattern you're going to change after watching this? See you in part 2.